I'll be honest, I've never felt so disgusted in a performance like this in a long, long time. And it seems to be that this season and, commonly in seasons before, there's a common group of players that when the going gets tough, the bottle crashes. And as I said, we've seen this during this Ross County game as well. Now, we can sit here and we can discuss how, the problems Tav has, the question the captaincy, the leadership, Goldson, the likes of Lundstrom, should he get a new deal, shouldn't he? In my opinion, there's a whole lot more to it than that, and a big part of that as well was that starting 11, and we're not letting Clement, even though yes, he doesn't have a magic wand, we're not letting Clement off the hook for this one. Now, the first half of that Celtic game, that Old Firm match, was as miserable a watch as I've ever seen. And, even though we managed to turn it around with some decent changes during the game, I didn't expect Clement to approach this game with a similar starting 11. Well, not really similar, because we've got a left back who has barely kicked a ball for us in the past few seasons, and it seems to be in the way out the door. Why he's starting when we're in a title race, I don't know. We've got the likes of Silva, who, Kieran in the previous video, after all his rolling about antics, diving antics, I would honestly love it never to see him in a Rangers shirt again, and if anything, this performance today has only solidified that. We've got a striker in Dessers who hasn't kicked his own arse most of the season. Yes, there's been goals here and there, he's looked a wee bit promising, but let's be honest, a lot of the fans have probably been in denial about the fact we've spent over, 4 million quid in an absolute donkey. It's just been a complete and utter mess, and I was heavily surprised to see that kind of starting 11 come in a game of this stature, because at the end of the day, yes, it's Ross County, however, it's a title race game against Ross County. I had a load of notes for this game, quite well written, quite well thought out, decent analysis in the game, and to be honest, at the 60th minute, they all get completely binned. That first half performance, we came out the gates really poorly. The only goal we managed to get in the game came from a scramble, an own goal from Ross County's point of view, and ever since that, we never kicked a ball since. And to be honest, players the likes of Tavernier, who never really linked up with anyone, showed no leadership on the park at all, showed no desire on the pitch at all, way too many mistakes, sloppy passing. We've also got a midfield containing John Lundstrom, and Dowell was there, who, let's be honest, Dowell, I wasn't sure about him starting because he played quite decent during the Celtic game, but I didn't really think he warranted a start in a title race, so that was a bit mind-blowing as well. Either way, the game went on. We absolutely had zero control over that midfield whatsoever in a game that was shouting out for Sterling in the middle of that park. Barisic completely non-existent, hiding most of the game. I'm not even going to be angry at him for it, I'm not even going to be mad at him for it, because that's what we expect from Borna Barisic, which is why the fans never want to see him on that pitch in a Rangers shirt again. And we had this opinion probably about 9 months ago, and yet here he was in a title race. I think the starting front three was a bit weird, considering Matondo's performance in Old Firm and the ability he had to change the game. We never saw him. Another mistake, I believe, is lies in the doorstep of Philippe Clement. And let's be honest, from the point of that, not only the first whistle, but for the point of that first goal, that own goal that we got, Rangers went 1-0 up. Ross County always seemed like the better team. They got the better breaks of the ball, they looked more dangerous. Obviously we had our chances as well, but I didn't feel that we were threatening whatsoever, considering every single ball we got landed to Dessers, who blasted a ball at the keeper for 6 yards out, blasted a ball over the bar for 6 yards out. He's just doing what Dessers does. I don't see why he's in the team over a Roofe, who, yes, we can't be trusted fitness-wise. Surely Roofe's a better option for Dessers when it comes to these kind of matches. There's so many people on Twitter, including ourselves, that said in the summer, we didn't sign a striker. This will come back to haunt us later on in the thick of a title race, and this is exactly what's unfolding. The first half definitely reminded me of the Celtic game in a sense that, the back four were utterly embarrassing. Every single time there was a break of the ball for Ross County, fingers are going in every single direction, but in the direction of the person it was the fault of. There's a lot of the blame game getting played with this back four, and in previous seasons we'd look at the likes of Goldson to maybe step up and provide a bit of leadership for that back four, but this season also another player that when the going gets tough, his bottle crashed. And our defending in the past few games, and a bit of a common theme across the season, is the absolute mess that back four get into in certain phases of the game. And let's be honest, if you were watching that first half and you thought it was a bit pish, then prepare yourself for the second half of that absolute shambles. A shambolic first half was followed up with an even more shambolic second half. No changes were made. I don't know how many Rangers fans I've seen screaming out for someone like Sterling in the middle of that park. It never happened. I feel like that lands on the doorstep of Clement as well. Those changes should have been made at half time, and they weren't. And well, Rangers conceded 2 goals within, a few minutes of each other, which both were down to shambolic defending anyway. Lundstram as well, failing to track his runners, who's pretty much on thin ice now up until the end of the season, whether he gets a contract or not. This is one of those games that doesn't really help the debate of should Lundstram get a new contract or not, should Tav have the captaincy at Rangers or not, should Tav be sold or not, should Goldson be sold or not. When it comes to these moments, you absolutely have to step up, and all too often, far too many of our key players just don't step up. We're at the point now, we've got to the stage of the season, the stage of this team where almost every single team we play against try and target that channel between Goldson and Tavernier. I don't know what it is about that channel, but it just causes absolute chaos for that Rangers defence. And obviously, I think Suter would probably rather play in Goldson's position. At this point, I'm quite happy to say goodbye to the era of Goldson running that defence, which is a shame because he's played so many games, he's been so reliable fitness wise for him. But at the end of the day, regardless of how well the numbers still are right now, and the fact that before we were 8 points behind, now we're in a title race. Yes, that's down to Philippe Clement and his kind of management skills. There's still that kind of leadership fault within this team, and there's a common flaw within that defence, and teams seem to have, clocked onto it and almost targeted it every single time, and it's just causing this team so much bother. The partnership of Tavernier and Goldson in that back line has deservedly been picked apart by the fans in recent weeks. And to almost sum up what I thought of this performance, I'm going to read the tweet that Kieran put up on Twitter immediately after the game, and that was the expression on some players' faces throughout the game. You'd not think they were in a title race. You would have thought it was us fighting relegation. Complete lack of class, composure, tenacity and quality. You fucked us last week, and you fucked us even more this week. And, what more needs to be said? Now, when it comes down to the title race itself and my thoughts on the title race, is the title race over? In my opinion, no, it's not. But there's almost an impossible mountain to climb where we now need to go back to relying on results or Celtic dropping points. We now need to win every single game, including that Old Firm, which is already going to be hard enough. Parkhead without any of our fans. So to go from 8 points behind to, 2 points if we win our games in hand, having Celtic chase us up until the bitter end of the season, going to Parkhead with an advantage, it's all completely out the window in one complacent, horrific performance. It's hard to say because, you do get attached to these kind of senior players within the team, but there's almost a feeling every season it goes by, there's almost a feeling that these senior players, Rangers won't really go anywhere until we move these senior players on and bring in something different. And maybe that is what Clement's looking to do in the summer. Maybe he is looking forward to, cashing in on some of the mainstays in the Rangers team and trying to bring his own twist on things. At the end of the day, this isn't Clement's team. I fully expect them to make big changes this summer, but 9 times out of 10 in previous seasons, those, that main spine of the team is left alone, and I can't help but think it's time to move on. This isn't just some shock result out of nowhere. Rangers didn't deserve this game from the first whistle. All throughout this game, it showed bottle crashing, it showed a lack of desire, it showed a lack of quality, it showed a lack of leadership, it showed everything possible that tells us as fans that we need to move on and start afresh with a squad, start a new spine of a team, start with players we can trust, with a manager we can trust, and see what the summer brings. But, I'm talking all doom and gloom here. At the end of the day, there's still, 5-6 games to be played. We've still got an Old Firm to play, which if we win, kind of puts us back in the driving seat again. And let's be honest, I wish I didn't have to be in this position and say this, but let's just hope that results out with our control go our way. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to jump into the comments. I want you to let me know what you thought about that performance, what you thought about this video and my opinions on it, what you think about that core of senior players. Should we move them on? Should we keep them and build round about them? And what I want you to do is I want you to like and subscribe if you're enjoying the content. Show a wee bit of support for this channel. We've been loving making the videos. We've grew so much this year and we couldn't have done it without you guys. So thanks each and every one of you. Remember, the Blue Sea channel memberships are down in the description next to our socials, and I'll see you next time.